interview with DJ Dobrel and Nadaiadesree, and this is for the Collide track that was released fairly recently on EML Recordings and is currently doing really well. For someone that hasn't heard it, for whatever reason, haven't listened to the track yet, why haven't you listened to it? How would you describe it to someone that hasn't heard it yet?
I mean, for me, I think it's a very powerful track. I think with the lyrics and the vocals and then, you know, the music behind it, it should be impactful. I mean, Collide is really, I think, an apt title because I think anyone that will hear it, it's like boom. So yeah, for me, that's the main overriding theme of it. I think it has a lot of meaning behind it, and it's a very powerful track. So yeah, if you haven't listened to it yet, what are you doing with your life? Get out there. Listen to it now.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. I mean, it is very powerful, and it's kind of one of those tracks that you definitely do get lost in. I mean, I remember even hearing like the first demo for it when we were working on it, and the first drop on it, I just wasn't expecting. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but when it gets to that first drop, it's pretty cool. Like, it's a deadly tune. So if you haven't heard it yet, you should definitely get onto it.
When you sent me the track and I first heard it, I was like, wow, that kick drum is absolutely fierce. Really is. I mean, it's absolutely thumping. That gets dropped in a club and it's just the floor's gonna go wild, and vocally I think it's exquisite. So the track itself, what emotions were you aiming to evoke with I guess this would be for Nadia, with the lyrics and also the melody?
Well, I think when I first heard it, I got this kind of like, I don't know, like an intergalactic, spacey kind of vibe off of it. And then it was also like, you know, when it goes into that kick, I got this kind of someone kind of rushing towards someone, maybe. So then I was trying to think of like intergalactic, you know, someone traveling from one galaxy to another to meet this person. And then I was like, kind of like a sci-fi thing, but that could literally just be two people living in two totally different worlds, you know, like that kind of thing. And then I tried to, you know, put that into the lyrics, and, you know, there's a little bit of hyperbole and stuff in that, but it's I think that's what I was trying to convey. So I suppose it's a little bit of a love song, isn't it?
I think it is, and when I got the vocals back, I was absolutely blown away. I mean, I have to say, Nadia, you're an amazing singer, songwriter.
Thank you very much.
So for me, like, I was absolutely honored then to, you know, try and craft that in. And I think, you know, we worked really well together. And I think, look, in terms of the track itself, I think it just kind of happened naturally in a way. And then everything else was just kind of fine tuning it. So there was a lot of fine tuning in terms of like, what's the direction we want to go. And eventually we got there, and we were just waiting for the right label and the right moment to release it. Yeah, really, really enjoyed working on this one. This was fantastic.
When people are listening to it for the first time, how do you hope they might feel when they've heard the track? Or does that ever cross your mind when you're writing it? You know, what kind of emotions it might evoke in the listener?
I suppose for me, and then you can add to this, it's again, just, you know, that it should hit you in the heart. It should hit you there. And I think ultimately that's the feeling I'm hoping that people get.
For someone who's listening to it for the first time, it's one of those songs where it's so unexpected in where it's going to go. I just think when people are listening to it, they should expect the unexpected. And then when I listen to it now, like, again, and I've listened to it so many times, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot it does this bit. This bit's deadly, yeah. I love this bit. There's such an element of surprise to it when you're listening to it for the first time as well. It
keeps you interested in it, and it's like, again, every time you can listen to it multiple times and you'll hear something different every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we can all attest to that. And it was funny, Nadia, when you were talking about when you listened to it, it was evoking feelings of kind of travelling through space. I had that too.
It takes me a lot longer to work on a collaboration than it does make my own tracks. I feel a lot more responsibility, to kind of just get it 100% right, because it's not just putting it out there for me, it's also for Nadia. And I want to make sure that, you know, in 5 years' time, you know, we're still proud of the track, right? So it's about making music that lasts as well.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I think as well, in terms of working together, I think we worked really well. Like, you know, the communication was really good, and there wasn't any, like, you know, I think sometimes when people are working on a track, you can become so protective of it, and that can sometimes, you know, that can ruin the song if you're overprotective. But I think there was none of that from either end. We kind of allowed for that kind of, you know, creative freedom.
Yeah, it's really it makes so much difference when you've got two people that have both got that ability to be able to give the other the freedom that they need without being too possessive over, vocally or and also in a production level. Yeah, the fact that you've managed to blend that together and you've given each other that freedom, it's worked really well, and that's the end result. You've got a stunning track. Did it evolve in a way that you didn't expect? And how was it done as well? I know there's lots of questions in this, but how was it done? Did you have the track first and then Nadia kind of wrote the lyrics around it, and then did the melody? Was that the process?
Yeah. Now, if you don't mind, maybe I'll just take that piece. I suppose. Look, the initial, I suppose, track was an instrumental, right? So it was. So as I said, and I was saying this to Nadia earlier on. There was a mutual friend that we had that recommended Nadia as a singer because I was looking for singers, Irish singers, and I was thinking, right, I want to do some like Irish-based dance music, right? So that's fully Irish, 100%. And then I started working on some ideas, and I suppose I had this idea in my head, like the original kind of version was probably even more trance, and I was right. This has to be the basis of the track. It kind of evolved from there. So I suppose I sent the instrumental over, and then Nadia, I guess from there, you kind of took it from there. So maybe you can add your.
Yeah, no, I think you have pretty much covered it there. It was pretty much, it was built around the instrumental, and I mean when I heard it for the first time, there's a part of the song, I don't know, I'd call it the chorus, where it's, how could I ever love deep, I don't know. Those lyrics I actually had written a long time ago. I never had any purpose, just those ones, not the other, nothing else that we contributed to, but those ones I had them there a while. And as soon as I heard the song, I was like, oh my God, that they actually slot in there so perfect. And then I wrote the rest of it around that, and that was when I got the kind of, that kind of spacey vibe, and was like, okay, and that sits in well with this as well. And it all kind of came together that way, then vocally and lyrically. And I have to say, like, your production is just unbelievable. And it was a pleasure to write with, like, along to that,
Storytelling play a role when you're writing lyrics, not just for this and singing, but for other songs as well? Well,
for me as a songwriter, I think storytelling is so important. Obviously sometimes you can have songs and they don't mean a thing, like it's just for fun, and that's perfectly fine. But a lot of the stuff that I do put out there, I like to kind of write songs that people can resonate with on a kind of a deeper level.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, any music I make, has to have a story behind it. I think if you have a feeling and a meaning behind a song, I think people will feel that. You know what I mean? I think if you're just making stuff for the fun of it, okay, that has a time and place. But I think in general, the meaning and the feeling behind the song should shine through. And I think with this song, we absolutely did that, and very, very proud of it.
Yeah, so you should be. It's an exquisite track, and I can also resonate with that as well, being a producer too. Okay, what tools and software were essential for producing this track? Have you got a preferred DAW or preferred favorite plugin, for example?
Yeah, we're gonna start. I mean, I'm an FL Studio junkie. Yeah, for the last 7 years. In terms of plugins, I think the most important plugin is the mixer. Kind of EQing a little bit of adjusting things to fit and sit in the right place, and I would encourage aspiring producers to maybe focus on that as opposed to trying to slap the next new plugin on that's going to make your mix amazing, where usually it messes it up. I think with vocals it's a little bit more difficult, to be honest. I think particularly when you have more complex vocals, and our track is very vocal heavy, and it's meant, that's the way it's meant to be. I think it's about, just slight adjustments here and there. So, maybe it's like a bit of compression on the vocal to normalize it out, things like that.
I think I recorded the vocals for Collide on an AKG P120, or it could have been a Shure SM58, I can't remember. But the Shure SM58, that's a kill mic. It's a dynamic mic, but it's not too bad for studio vocals, I don't think, but I'm not a producer, so I don't. That's not my end at all.
I hope this is making people think, well, I need to go listen to this now. I really need to go listen to this track. What were the biggest challenges with both for yourself, Nadia, vocally writing the lyrics and getting that kind of melody to fit into the track, and then also with yourself, Lawrence, with the kind of EQing, the final mix down?
Like, you don't want to overcomplicate it, you know, because like it's such a, you know, the song itself, the track, I think that's the main focus. So I think that the melody and the lyrics kind of just, you know, they're like a decoration. They kind of maybe like enhance it a little bit. So I didn't want to overdo it. So
I disagree with Nadia on this, by the way. I think it's all about the lyrics and then the track support. So go on. She's very modest.
I don't know. You know, like for example, you have the I have traveled through space and time. It's kind of more bouncy. And then the same to how could I ever love deep, I don't know. It's more sharp kind of, you know.
What I really liked about it is it's not predictable. So the melody, it's not, you know, because sometimes when you hear a track, you could kind of, you almost already know what's going to come before it does. But this is not like that. It's not. And like you say, you got these little bits where you're kind of like, it's a little bit faster paced, and then it's dropped down and it's slow, and it just works really well.
The track kind of wrote the lyrics itself. That's what I think.
Oh wow, what an accolade. What a night. What's brilliant. That's a great thing to hear, Lawrence, as a producer, surely.
No, I think look, it worked, and then like I said, there wasn't a huge amount of adjustment then afterwards. I think, you know, in terms of where the lyrics actually were placed, the arrangement of the lyrics actually took a bit of time. I think we kind of did go back and forth to that a little bit to say, you know, does this work better, that work better? And I shared it with a few other producers as well, to get their feedback. And so we got there. So again, just arranging it. And then look, a lot of that is in kind of at the more minute level, is just comping the vocals so that, you know, you're getting it in time, you know, with the track.
I'd imagine that this is a really insightful interview for anyone that's, you know, looking to get into producing. And for those that don't produce, those that just listen, I don't think people realise just how much, you know, goes into writing a track, and the fact that you guys just go right down the rabbit hole, you know, and with it. And I think if for people like that, it's gonna be really, really interesting.
I think sometimes, you know, in dance music, we don't do this. We don't have these conversations about the music. But at the end of the day, you know, a huge amount of work from Nadia's side, from my side. I think it's all come together. And thank you as well, Jason. I think as well, in terms of the work you've done promoting it, and, you know, with all the graphics and stuff, is great. So, you know, well done to you as well. So,
and is there maybe another collaboration in the offing between you both?
I'd love to collaborate again. Absolutely.
Yeah, I 100%. I think amazing songwriter, amazing singer. So I'd say yes, absolutely. We're going to do another one. So I think we're all in agreement on that.
And if you guys do want to go out and buy this release and support the artist, it's on the EML Recordings website, eml-recordings.com.
EML Recordings.
I have traveled through space and time to have you here and call you mine. Letting go of all we know, letting all our demons Sleep next to me and I love